Tuesday evening, afternoon, I was going to say then. I don't even know what time it is. Happy Tuesday afternoon to Sumi and to our community. How is everybody? How has everybody's Tuesday been? Sumi, how's your day been?
Mine's been good. It's been the usual running around, different hats, take one off, forget which one you put on, and then leave lots of other bits and pieces behind you. But no, it's been lovely.
Good.
I can't complain. I can't believe it's only Tuesday.
I know. We've got a few more days to go until the weekend, that's for sure. This is a webinar that is in high demand. So we put a question out to our community about what they wanted to see. And this was one of the topics that kept coming up. So no pressure, Sumi. But we are obviously all very interested in understanding what supplements we can take to support ourselves through perimenopause and menopause. We obviously also know, and I know that you're going to cover this, we have our breast cancer community within Herizen as well. And you always have to be a little bit more cautious with taking supplements. So what we're basically saying today is that this is the information that you're giving is advice. However, if women do want to take supplements and they are taking other medication, that they should speak to their team first, right?
Absolutely. And I think that's the bottom line. It's about individualizing things, because what we're presented with in social media and other places, it's all marketing. And, we're all a sucker for it. I'm constantly falling for it. Yeah. But then you have to step back and think, what is appropriate, what actually makes sense, where the evidence, and none of us have got the time to do all of that. You have to be guided and ask the right questions and know where to look. So it can be so overwhelming. And I think that's why it's really important to individualize, because you and I are different. So what works for me may not work for you and vice versa, but it's understanding you as a whole. And I think if there are any medical health issues or other lifestyle things that need to be understood, it's really important to have a conversation with somebody who understands what the supplements are and what your health history and ongoing future is as well. So I think it is really important. It's just, it's not a case of just picking it up from the shelf and start taking it, because, and I will say this again, supplements are supplements. They are enhancements, they're add-ons. And if you then start taking something which is not appropriate or safe for you, then that will have longer term, detrimental effect. But on the other side, it may be wonderful for you because it works really well. So it has to be balanced.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. We've got a record 11 people that have joined from our community. So thank you so much and welcome everyone. We're so grateful that you're here. We're so grateful that you're supporting. Dr. Sumi, for those of you that don't know, is one of our Herizen experts, one of the founding Herizen experts. We would not have been able to create and move Herizen forward in the way we have without her support. And you are our medical expert. And we are going to continue to carry on trying to pave the way for women entering into hormonal change to feel more planned and more prepared. Amazing. Okay. Khalida has just joined. Hello, Khalida. Lovely to have you on, my darling. I hope you're well. Okay, so I think we should get going. I've got some questions for you, Sumi. So if it's all right, if I can start asking them. Yes, and girls, please, feel free as we go through the webinar. If you have any questions, just pop them in the comments. And Sumi, I'll just come back to them and ask away. And obviously, as Sumi has said, she cannot give medical advice, but you will absolutely try to support where you can.
Yeah, and I think the key thing about today is, we're focusing, the market with supplements is massive, isn't it?
Yes.
So today the focus was, let's focus on the two main supplements that everyone's been asking about, and that's collagen and creatine. And the thinking behind it is because it's everywhere. I mean, it's all over my Instagram. It's probably all over everyone else's, which I'm sure. And then it is in the gym, or it's in, any beauty clinic that you might be popping into, even if you're just going to get your eyebrows done, or you're having your hair done in a hairdresser's, and then friends and family, over a coffee, over dinner. It's the same questions that keep coming up, isn't it? In terms of, Are they actually helpful? Number one, do they help with the hormonal transition? And I think today, because we listen to the community, it's about demystifying a few things, but also providing some practical, balanced, evidence-based information to allow our community to make the right choices for them. Absolutely. So, yeah, please fire away, because I know you've got quite a few questions.
I've got questions. Okay. I think for me personally, I just feel like there is so much noise around collagen. I feel like it's sort of been it's been sold to us as this absolutely incredible supplement that can make you look 20 years younger, and it helps your hair and it helps your nails and all of that stuff. And I'm just not convinced that the products that people are trying to sell on Instagram and places like that are actually going to do what they say they're going to do. And also they cost an absolute fortune. So anything that we can go through today that's going to benefit our community to make the right decisions is the right thing. So I'm going to crack on and stop talking. Sumi, what happens to our bodies in perimenopause and menopause to start needing to consider taking supplements? Can you take us back?
Yeah, no, of course. And I think it probably, we went through quite a bit through the back to basics, which was just an overview, wasn't it? But just to keep it very, very simple, during the perimenopause and menopause, we all understand that there's an estrogen decline. And with that estrogen decline, it has an impact on collagen production. So that is the one thing. There is clear evidence that estrogen, as it declines, causes a rapid collagen loss, especially in the first 5 years post-menopause. So that means you start noticing reducing. You might find that you heal a bit more slowly from any wounds that you might have. If you're looking under the microscope or thinking about the different layers of the skin, the dermal thickness and structural support of the skin is also reduced because of the fact that it's collagen. So we know that, and that is evidence-based.
Yeah.
Secondly, we know that during the hormonal transition, you have accelerated bone loss. So your bone mineral density reduces as well. You start losing lean muscle mass. So muscle bulk is going. I mean, it's just a huge number of things. Your fat distributes differently. So what you looked like pre-menopause and when you're going through the menopausal change, your body shapes differently. You start collecting more weight around your abdomen. It's more like a male type of fat distribution. You become sensitive to insulin, plus you get increased joint stiffness and energy levels as well. So those are some of the things as a result of estrogen. And then, as I was saying, as you go past the age of 40, you're losing about 1% of collagen per year. That increases up to about 30% of skin collagen loss over the first 5 years, which is significant. So I think that's where women really notice when they're looking at themselves. They feel like they just aren't appearing to be themselves at all. And it's markedly evident because of the evidence is there. Plus, you lose about 3 to 8% of your muscle mass. So it's not just about appearance, it's about your strength, your metabolic health, as well as the long-term independence. So it's completely understandable why we're all turning towards and thinking, is there supplementation that's going to help me get through this to support these changes? And that's where the market has just become overwhelming.
Yeah.
So, just in a very, very brief, obviously I went through a lot of it in the previous webinar. So if people are wanting to know all of the different changes that happen during the perimenopause and menopause, probably worth back and watching that. But also I'm happy to answer questions there. But that's just in a summary what starts happening with our collagen, our bones, joint health, and why we start feeling this and why we start looking towards supplementation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So can you explain to us, first of all, what collagen is?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no.
Give us a bit of the science behind it, if you can.
Yeah. So collagen is a protein. We all know about protein and how important it is. And it's one of the most abundant proteins, and it's responsible for the mechanical strength in our skin, in our joints, nails, and hair. And it actually makes up about 25 to 30% of our total body protein. So it's a very, very important protein that you have. So the fact that we're losing it so quickly is really impactful, and the fact that we're losing lean muscle mass as well. And there are many reasons, not just the hormonal transition that causes a decline in your collagen. There's one of the major culprits, which we know is UV exposure. So UV light affects both the production of collagen, but it also destroys the collagen that you already have. So we may not be thinking about it in our 20s or 30s, but it is one of the main reasons for collagen breakdown. And it's because the UV light activates these particular enzymes called MMP, which start breaking the collagen down and then stops the production of collagen. So that's one of the reasons. And then you combine that with aging. So we already know men and women will lose collagen anyway as they age, but women far more. Then there's things like smoking, high sugar diets, having stress or poor sleep. All of them together is what then causes a further collagen loss. And in terms of, you asked, what does the science say? Well, the science does say that there are benefits of taking collagen, actually. So it's not the miracle that's been marketed on social media, but there is clinical evidence behind it. Some of it modest, some of it promising, and some of it a bit more firm. And I think that's what we have to then be able to divide up, because many of the studies have been done in different population groups. However, most recently, actually, some skin studies have been done in postmenopausal women itself. And what that has shown is that if a woman is taking, during her menopausal stage, if she is taking 5 grams of collagen daily for 6 months, there's actually significant improvement in skin elasticity and hydration compared to not taking it.
Right.
So there is evidence for that. There's also evidence to say that if you combine it with vitamin D and calcium, the benefits are even more so. Wow. So that's quite interesting and quite remarkable. And in the same study, they've also talked about the fact that hair shedding is actually reduced in those groups as well. So we're looking at improvements in skin elasticity and hydration, and potential benefits for hair shedding too.
Yeah.
And those are in menopausal women. Those studies have been done, and they're called randomized controlled trials. Then there's other literature based on bone and muscle health. But the problem with these is they've not been done in menopausal women or women who are going through the hormonal transition. But again, there is evidence to show that there is increased bone density in the spine and the long bone of your leg, the femur, when collagen, again, is combined with vitamin D and calcium. So that's quite promising, but we need more trials to say whether it is a definitive or not for women in their menopausal stage. And then there is some evidence for example, joint health as well. But that, again, has been done in a broader spectrum of individuals, different ages, and it's not specifically for women during their hormonal change. But there has been shown benefit for improved pain and discomfort, and also improvement in physical function as well. So there are benefits, even though they are modest, there are benefits. So I think what I'm trying to say is, it's not a miracle cure that is being showcased as being, you start taking this, everything is going to be everything is going to be improved. But there is enough evidence to say it can help with skin, it can help with hair, it can help with bone and joints. So it's about then balancing, the benefits versus the risks of it. And I guess what I normally say is, collagen is safe. It's not estrogenic. And it can be helpful for skin hydration and elasticity, but please don't expect it to, be a facelift in a supplement or a change in the way that you look or how your appearance is. It's never going to replace strength training. Yeah. It's not going to replace things like hormonal support if you need it. And they are expensive. So if budget is tight and you're looking at balancing what is going to be the most effective for you, then perhaps having your vitamin D supplements is far more important. Having your daily calcium intake. So when we're looking at vitamin D, we're talking about 10 micrograms a day, about 700 grams of calcium as well. And then you need to look at your protein intake and resistance training. So all of these things together are work really, really well. So there's benefits for sure. And I think the other thing that I probably should say is the oral collagens that are being taken, you don't keep them as collagen. They, you take it in and then it's broken down by your body into smaller amino acids, which are smaller particles. And they then send signals to your, let's say, for example, collagen producing cells called the fibroblasts to start producing more collagen. So your body is going to break it down. So you're not keeping it as collagen. And I think that's another thing which isn't always understood, because it's felt that if you're taking the collagen, automatically you're increasing the collagen, and that's not correct. So it's a supplement and it's a signal that's only going to be enhanced if you've got a good diet and a good lifestyle.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, it is just an add-on. It is not to replace a healthy lifestyle, strength training, getting out into the fresh air, looking after yourself, taking your vitamin D. Yeah, that makes complete sense to me. In terms of other ways, are there other ways in that we can boost our collagen to help with skin and hair changes? And I'm almost thinking about that from like a, being in the clinic option or at home. Is there anything else that we can do?
Absolutely. So most of those things that you're looking at more from a skin point of view rather than joints and otherwise. If I just come back, actually, what I haven't mentioned is when you're looking for collagen. So if, our community are thinking, actually, I do want to consider taking a collagen supplement, you have to be really careful about the formulations. And I think that's one thing we should touch upon before I go on to other things. So if it is safe, and once you've discussed it with your medical team, depending on your health, or a medical professional that understands supplements and understands general health, then what you're looking at is it needs to be hydrolyzed. So any type of collagen, as it's marketed, it will say whether it's hydrolyzed or not. So what that means is if it's hydrolyzed, we know from evidence that it's absorbed better by the gut. So you want to invest in something that you're going to absorb. There's no point buying something you're not going to absorb. So those do tend to be a bit more expensive. That's number one. Secondly, marine collagen is thought and actually shown to be absorbed better than bovine collagen. So marine is fish sourced, bovine is from cow in terms of the collagen, where it's coming from. And it's about 1.5 times better absorbed than bovine collagen. So again, when you're looking at stuff, that's what you need to be looking at. And marine collagen is a type 1 collagen, so it helps with hair, skin, nails, and joints. Bovine has got type 1 and type 3, which is more for like gut, and it can help with joints and tendons. So it really depends what your needs are. But I think actually marine collagen is probably sufficient if you're looking at a collagen itself, because it's better absorbed. It's a closer match in terms of the type of collagen that you need. And it's really sustainable because it's made from the byproducts of the seafood industry. So it's not as if it's being made in a poor fashion. It's sustainable and using the bits that are already being used for consumerism in terms of seafood anyway. So hydrolyze is really important. There is no point at all buying gummies or tablets. That is a definite. So, they're a lot cheaper. I understand that, but it's pointless because they've got so many preservatives in them. They don't have the right amount of collagen either. You're far, far better off getting either a liquid version or a powder version because you're going to absorb more of it. And ideally, you want anything between 5 grams to 10 grams.
The questions are coming in thick and fast. And actually, in the last 2 sentences, you've actually answered Sam and Liz's question. Okay. So Sam has said, is it bovine versus fish? We now know that marine is better because it is absorbed better in our bodies. And then Liz has asked, reabsorption, tablets or powder? You would say powder or liquid?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, all the evidence has been based on liquids or powders. So the tablets and gummies is a complete no-no. You've got so many added sugars. There's so many other preservatives in there. Don't bother. And same goes with tablets. They just don't have the right formulations to allow you to get the most benefit out of it. So my advice would be, if you're thinking about it and it's safe for you to use, go with the liquid or powder, hydrolyzed, marine, 5 grams to 10 grams. Those would be my key take-home things.
Sumi, what does hydrolyzed mean? Sorry, just so we can understand.
It's the way that it's been formulated. So it's smaller particles, and it means that it has a outer
and when we're
coating
looking
which
to
allows
buy
absorption
hydrolyzed marine collagen, will the packets actually say hydrolyzed? It does. Okay, brilliant.
Absolutely, because that was one of the USPs for most of them. So they will always write down that it's hydrolyzed if it is hydrolyzed.
I've learned so much written, already. This is amazing. It's amazing. And the questions are coming in. They are coming in thick and fast.
So,
Khalida,
so always make sure you have a read of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Khalida, we'll do a recap at the end, and then Dr. Sumi, I think we need to get this down on a post within the app so that people can just refer to it when they're going out and they're doing their shopping to try and we're all going to be racing out tomorrow to go and buy our marine collagen. Dr. Sumi said
oh no, we should have bought shares in collagen.
I know, honestly, damn it. Khalida said, what about, and I know we're going to go on because we have our questions, but Khalida said, what about type 2 for joints?
So it's more about type 1 and 3. There isn't much
type
evidence.
1 and 3.
But type 1, as I said, so the marine collagen does help with joints as well. So anecdotally, I can say from my patients, both in the NHS and privately as well, women who, or men who have been using the type of collagen that I've been explaining, their morning aches are no longer there. You know, they're waking up out of bed and they're feeling as if their joints aren't hurting. And that is anecdotally, it's not something that I have written a study about. It's what I'm hearing back from the cohorts of individuals that I'm seeing, or they're finding they're seeing an improvement in their hair growth, their skin texture and nails. So that is just, you know, responses that I'm hearing as feedback for what they've been using if they follow those particular criteria for choosing collagen.
Okay. Yeah. So hydrolyzed marine collagen over the bovine. And also, how soon can we expect to start seeing improvements in the way that we feel, the way that we look, how our joints feel? Is there any understanding around what that looks like?
Yeah, no, there is. So it's about, you need to give it at least 3 months as a minimum, because you need to start developing it, you know, as a routine, and that is based on taking it daily and taking 5 grams to 10 grams. So actually 11 grams, there's, you know, some brands that have got 10, they've got some that have got 11. The higher the dose, the sooner you start seeing, but usually you need to give anything about 3 months.
Yeah. And you can take 10 grams.
Yeah. And remember it's a protein. So it's also hitting your daily protein intake.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you can add that to your protein intake. So I think the key thing is, you know, it's not magic, it's not essential, but if you have done all the other bits in your lifestyle and you're trying to balance all of those things, then there is no harm in adding it in. And if you're going to add it in, just get the right type. Try it out for 3 to 4 months. If you don't see an improvement, well, you've tried it, haven't you? And then you can throw it, you know, not bother wasting your money on buying it.
Yeah, and some of our community are actually even saying they are bins collagen tablets. So like they literally have asked about the powder or the liquid or tablets, and where you've said. So, but at least we know, you know, our money is, we work so hard for our money. We want to be spending it in the right places. And tablet form is not the way to go. So yeah, absolutely, we've learned something, so obviously, which is great.
Whatever you have, I would never say throw it away. You know, obviously use up what you have, but just now purchase being informed about the next steps. And I think, you know, I need to go back to your previous question. What else can you do?
Yes.
You know, so those are collagen supplements, but there are things that you can be doing yourself. So, and they relay back to the causes of the decline of collagen. So you need to make sure that you're wearing daily SPF. You know, SPF 50 on a daily basis is incredibly important, and that is collagen preserving. We have to look at preservation as well as new production. So if anybody isn't already, and you know what an advocate I am for SPF, whatever your skin type or, you know, skin of color or not, SPF is a must.
Yes.
Because it's not just about aging, it's about your cancer risk and all of those things as well. But from an aging perspective, it is massive. And there's huge amounts of evidence for it. So ladies, please buy your SPF. The other thing is, we know that strength training actually stimulates collagen production. So that's another reason to be thinking about doing strength training. I know it's always a bit difficult when the weather is all miserable and you're thinking, I can't be bothered to do it. But there's so many reasons why we need to be doing that. Good sleep. And I know that is really tricky when we're going through the menopausal transition, but it's during your sleep that you start doing your collagen repair. So that is really important, and how to get that good sleep routine in. And I know we've got Dr. Caitlin in April who'll be talking about sleep routine. So, you know, any beneficial tips there would really help with your overall well-being as well as from a collagen point of view. And hydration. So although water doesn't create collagen, skin just functions a lot better when you're hydrated rather than when you're dehydrated. So those are the things you could be doing at home from a lifestyle perspective. Then there are certain ingredients that you can use topically. So when I mean topically is like, for example, ingredients in creams that have got evidence behind it. Retinoids are a very, very big one. There's years and years of data to say that that is very, very helpful for encouraging collagen production and skin cell renewal. Vitamin C, for the same reasons, it prevents breakdown of collagen, but it also supports collagen production. Vitamin C is important. So in a cream itself. And there's new emerging evidence about peptides. I know peptides is a completely different thing, but we're talking about peptides in creams, not orally ingesting. So again, these are things to look out for, but it's individualized. You know, not all skin is able to take what we call active ingredients, and these are active ingredients. So if you are a sufferer from sensitive skin, or you've got a lot of other medications that break your skin barrier, then they're probably not suitable. But again, you know, having a supportive conversation with somebody who understands skin and what your needs are can try and optimize your skin routine. So you're actually getting the best from that, from your lifestyle, and you're adding in the supplements. And then if anybody did want to know more about, you know, in clinic treatments, there's loads which have got proven evidence, like microneedling, polynucleotides, certain chemical medical peels, platelet-rich plasma, LED light therapy, just to name a few. And these, you know, I'm sure most of the community have heard of those things because they're available in most clinics, but they are really well researched, and they are dependent on who is providing the treatment and what products they're using, what depths they're going to. So whoever you go to, it's really important, again, to know what you're investing in, because again, these treatments aren't cheap, so that you get the best outcome for you. So I hope that gives an overview of the questions for collagen.
Yeah, it's just so helpful. My brain is just ticking, and I can see the response from people on here. So yeah, people have been taking tablets. Like Khalida said, she has been taking tablets from Holland and Barrett. You know, all we're saying, Khalida, is maybe finish those tablets and then switch to a liquid or a powder moving forward. Jane has asked, we might need to come back onto this, but in regards to calcium, how much should we be taking? And again, is that better in a powder or liquid form?
Oh, you just cut off.
Have I gone?
Sorry, you just cut off there. I didn't catch what you asked.
Can you hear me, Sumi?
Yes, I can hear you now. Yeah, go ahead.
Jane has just asked, in regards to calcium, how much should we be taking? And again, is that better in a powder or a liquid form?
So with calcium, a capsule is absolutely fine. You know, it's quite well absorbed. It's the recommended dose for somebody who's healthy, no other health problems, is about 700 milligrams a day.
700 milligrams per day. Okay.
Yeah. And then vitamin D is 10 micrograms or 400 international units. But yes, with calcium, you can buy the calcium tablets from Boots or anywhere else. It doesn't need to be anything fancy because it is absorbed well. And the same goes with vitamin D. The only times you need to change formulation is if a small minority of individuals don't absorb so well, so they might need a spray or a liquid form, or they can't tolerate tablets. So that would be on an individual basis. But for the general population, a tablet is fine for calcium.
Okay. Guys, is there any other questions on collagen before we move on? Because we're only halfway through. I mean, my brain is blown already. I literally am like, keep the mental note. Try
You
and
don't need to keep a mental note. I'll write it all down.
I'll be replaying my own webinar. I'm taking notes. It'll be unbelievable. Any suggestions for brands? Thank you, Mrs. O. Any suggestions for brands?
So I'm not affiliated with any.
No.
There are loads of brands, and actually, I've looked at a lot of brands. I generally tend to recommend Zuki.
Okay.
Just because they've got a super strength collagen, which is individual sachets. So you can take them, they're really easy. You can take them on holiday. They don't weigh a huge amount. You can put them in the fridge and they taste really quite nice. They're not very fishy, but they've got 11 grams. So they're only ones that I've seen to date that have got 11 grams of hydrolyzed marine collagen.
Do you take them to me?
I do.
Amazing.
I love the sour cherry flavour and mango and peach.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And that was called Zuki.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe we'll get that link and we'll get that onto our post.
I'm always looking at others. They are not cheap though. That's the only thing.
Okay.
And if you are going to buy them, there are lots of counterfeit products. So probably best to be buying either directly from the website. I think Holland & Barrett was also selling them. I think Harrods Selfridges sell them. And I think you might be able to buy them on Amazon. But just make sure if you're buying from Amazon that they are from the Zuki store rather than it being elsewhere. But I'm still looking for other products that might be able to match, the quality of that particular brand, but hopefully be a bit less. And there are a couple of powders I'm looking at the moment, but I just haven't found one that is offering the same as Zuki. So hence I would suggest that. And everyone knows about Absolute Collagen and all the other brands, but they're actually a lot less in the grams per sachet. They're also a liquid collagen, but I think they might be 7 grams, so nearly half of what.
And I suppose if you're going to spend your hard-earned money on it, the one that is going to benefit the most is the one that comes with, the 11.
Yeah.
Okay. And is it Zuki as in zoo and then KI?
That's it.
Sam's already on Google now. Oh no, that's Mrs. O. Sorry. Sam said she uses Ancient and Brave powder, and she's using the bovine.
Right. Okay.
So she's thinking she'll switch to the marine.
What I'll do is I'll have a look at the Ancient and Brave one, and then I can put it on.
That would be amazing.
If you don't mind putting, sorry, who was it that asked?
That was Sam.
So if you don't mind, maybe after the webinar, we've still got the webinar link, haven't we? If you put the question on there, I'll have a look at the Ancient and Bear. I'm always a bit nosy. I like finding.
No, I love it. So I'll send that to you, Sumi, anyway. I'll put a note under the when we post the live. I'll just put it in the comments, and then you can feed us back. That would be amazing as you discover more about this collagen with powders, and if there's anything that you use or you get recommended, that would be amazing. That's what our community is about. Lou's just joined us. Hi, Lulu. How are you, my darling? Okay. So, girls, if you don't have any more questions, I'm going to move on to creatine. And Sumi, I'd like to understand what is creatine and the science behind it. And then I have about 25 million other questions. So let's just start at that point.
All right, then.
Let
me make sure I get through it in the time that we've got. So what is creatine? So I think the first thing is everyone seems to think it's a bodybuilding supplement.
Yes.
And it and it isn't. So I think that's what I want to hope that you gain from the end of it. It's not just about those really masculine men who are all greased up and looking all pumped up. It's not just about them taking it. It is appropriate for a wider population. So creatine isn't a protein, but it is made of amino acids just like a protein is. But rather than it being a long chain of amino acids, it's 3 main amino acids that make creatine itself. And it's actually found naturally in the muscle. And it is, what it does is it helps something called ATP, which is adenosine triphosphate, which is basically the energy currency of our body. So when we're talking about, what does creatine do? It is increasing the energy currency within our body, and that's how it works. And it's one of the most researched molecules or supplements in the world. And it's actually one of the ones that is really easily absorbed by the body. 99% of it is absorbed in whichever form that you get it. And 3 to 5 grams a day is more than sufficient. Okay. So I think those are the key take-homes that is really, really important. Why does it matter in menopause? Well, we've already talked about how estrogen decline causes a reduction in your muscle mass. It causes, a change in your reduced muscle strength. You get increased fatigue. But one of the fundamental things why it's important is it actually reduces something called mitochondrial efficiency. So mitochondria are these little structures inside each of our cells, and they're known as the powerhouses of the cells. So what they do is they generate the cell supply of the ATP that I mentioned. And because it does that, it then uses it as a source of chemical energy. And that's what gives the cells the energy to do the functions that it needs to. So basically, they work like our little batteries. And there's a little battery in every single cell, whether it's a skin cell, a hair cell, a muscle cell. And that's where creatine can help with the ATP to help the mitochondria to encourage that process. And in menopause or midlife, muscle means everything. If we're losing it, we need to be able to build it to be able to allow for our energy functioning itself. And I think the thing is, there is enough evidence to show that just 3 to 5 grams daily will improve your muscle strength, will improve your overall energy, will improve your exercise performance. But also, and I think this is the most important bit for us women who are going through the menopausal transition, there's evidence to suggest that it helps with memory and with brain functioning. Yeah. So the benefits for brain fog, fatigue, mood are definitely there. And I think that is where it is a bit of a game changer, where we haven't realized the importance of creatine itself. Yeah. Is it safe in healthy, and I'm going to underline that if I can verbally, yes. Yes. Healthy individuals, it is safe. Again, it's not estrogenic. It's not, it's been studied for many, many years. It's not going to damage healthy kidneys. It's not going to turn you into a man. It's not going to make disrupt your hormones, but you've just got to be safe in its use. That if there is any other health conditions, if you're on certain medications, because medications are broken down by the kidney and the liver, and if there's an additional load of a creatine supplement, that can then have detrimental effects to the kidney. So that's where the safety bit comes in, that it has to be suitably safe for the individual who's planning to take it. But there's definitely enough evidence to say it is beneficial at 3 to 5 grams, whichever form.
Okay. The questions are coming in. So I'm going to go back to Sumi in a second with your questions, but I just want to get through this part, if that's okay, Sumi. In terms of women that are affected by breast cancer, we constantly worry about taking. I hardly take anything because I am so fearful. In terms of collagen and creatine, is it a valid concern, or are we okay to take it?
So I think it is a valid concern, because you have to look at women at different stages. So you've got active breast cancer, you've got your active treatment, then you've got your endocrine therapies with the aromatase inhibitors, and then you've got your survivors who have gone beyond that. Each one of those groups have to be treated differently, because as I mentioned earlier, collagen and creatine are safe in healthy individuals. They don't disrupt your hormones, but what we do know, for example, in collagen, whatever you're ingesting won't make its way to a tumor or cause tumor growth. But we don't have enough studies in this group of women, active cancer or cancer survivors, to say what that impact could be. And there is also evidence that collagen within a tumor, so that's where the collagen has been produced within a tumor itself, does support the biology of that tumor. But it's not to say it's because you've orally taken the supplements. Does that make sense without getting too confusing? So you have to look at it differently.
Can you just say that one more time? Just say that again for us.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to say is the oral collagen that you take, there isn't any evidence to suggest that it makes you at a high risk of breast cancer or breast cancer recurrence.
Yes.
However, there's not enough data within this group to say, is it safe or not? And then the second part is there is some evidence where collagen within a tumor, which has been produced by the tumor, allows the microenvironment of that tumor to grow. But that is collagen which is in the tumor itself, rather than oral supplements. And the same goes with creatine. It is generally safe in healthy individuals, but if you're on certain medications which are going to be excreted by the liver or kidneys, or if it has an impact on your treatment going forward for your active breast cancer, or you're on aromatase inhibitors, then it has to be discussed with the medical team. So both of anybody who is either actively being treated for breast cancer, is on medications for breast cancer, you really should be having a conversation with your medical team to ensure that they are safe and happy, and it's not going to have an impact on the drugs or the treatment going ahead.
Yeah.
But anybody who's then gone past and is in the years where they are, where they have completely finished their active treatment and are on the road to recovery and in the recovery phase, then it is generally suitable. But again, I have to caveat that it should really be discussed with a medical professional that understands the biology of an individual's health, as well as the balance of supplementation. And, the same advice is still there. Resistance training, where it's possible, is really important. Vitamin D optimization is really important. Bisphosphonates, which help with bone density, may be something that needs to be considered with the medical team, and protein. So I guess it's supportive, but it's not the primary intervention, and it has to be done in conjunction with conversations with the medical team to ensure that benefits outweigh the risks.
And you could take the brand to your team and say, this is something that I want to take.
Yes.
Can you please look into the ingredients of this and decide whether you think that I can take this alongside my aromatase inhibitors, or,
Absolutely.
Somebody that's an active treatment. Sorry, I think it's Katie. Katie said about the creatine because she has a really foggy head. Jane again is asking for some recommendations, which we'll come back to. Katie says she takes ribociclib, which can raise her liver enzymes. Would the creatine put added pressure on that?
So because it's excreted both by the kidney and the liver, everything is being excreted out of those two things. So yes is the answer. Without knowing her full history, just based on what she's mentioned, she would need to have a further discussion, because what we don't want to do, creatine turns into creatinine, which is a byproduct and is excreted by the kidneys. So kidney function tests are really important, as are your liver function tests. In terms of, your overall health. So when we're looking at medications which have an impact, and such as those, it needs to be discussed in a careful and a supportive way.
Absolutely. So we're not saying no, but we are saying whether you are in active treatment or you are active treatment is finished, but you are on your aromatase inhibitors or life after, like I'm moving into year 3, you know, there still needs to be a conversation because you are taking medication.
Absolutely. And I think that's where, you know, it goes back to individualized care. Even though these are supplements, it's really important that they are carefully thought through to optimize your health, not deteriorate.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And because they're so readily available and the information isn't out there, we can often sometimes mistakenly take things which could then inadvertently have an effect on your overall health.
Yes.
So, absolutely. And I think that's where we need to be a bit more supportive when it comes to understanding about the world of supplements. And they aren't regulated in the same way as medications are, but actually can have just as much of an impact on your liver function, your kidney, your overall health. So I don't want to over medicalize it, but it's also about if you're going to spend your hard-earned money to support yourself, it's really important that you're having a good conversation to know that it is supportive and not problematic.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, I'm just going to go back over some of the, just getting back to creatine. So definitely a real benefit to taking creatine, and it could really help with some of those horrendous side effects that you have with the menopause, one of them just being the brain fog completely. That could really support
it could. So as I said, it's emerging evidence, so it's not concrete yet. What we do know that it helps with energy levels, with increased muscle mass, but there is evidence to suggest that it does help with the cognitive side of things. So we do need more data.
Yeah.
But again, in a healthy individual, a healthy woman who is on limited number of medications or no medications at all, and she's doing everything, then actually no harm at all. Try the creatine out 3 to 5 grams on a daily basis and observe how it affects you. And it's not just about taking it on the days that you're doing resistance training. If you do it together, that helps with your muscle mass, but you could take it as a regular daily supplement.
3 to 5 grams every day. And like with these Suki products that you use, have you done your research into the creatine? Are there any brands that you recommend?
So actually with creatine, it's slightly different because most of it is really quite readily absorbed.
Okay.
And so most brands are generally okay.
Okay, brilliant. That's great.
But again, I can write a couple down.
Yeah, thank you. Sam said about the gummies. She says, "Gosh, there's like sweets. It's difficult not to eat a few at a time. But are gummies any good?" No, Sam, they're not.
No.
Don't waste your money.
Gummies in vitamins for anything, it really, really isn't worth it. The amount of sugars that are in there, the amount of stabilizers and artificial preservatives that are in gummies, it's not worth it. You're not getting the bang for your buck.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just a waste of your money. Kerry says HER2 positive, as this is a protein, would collagen advisable? Kerry, I think the most important thing to do, sweetheart, is take it back to your team. This is what I want to do. This is what I'm thinking of taking. Can you give me the advice that I need? I think that's the right thing to do, Sumi.
Absolutely.
They'll be open to a conversation with you, sweetheart. And if they're not, just keep pushing for one. I think that's all we can do.
And Sumi, I think the bottom line again is, it is a supplement. It's not a miracle. So if you can't take it now, you can take it at a later stage when you are ready. So don't put pressure on yourself thinking, oh my God, I'm missing out on something that is going to make a massive change. It's not that, because it is, as I hope I've explained, it's a combination of things together. And when you're ready and when you can, then add those supplements in, but don't pressurize yourself if it's not safe.
What I think is so incredible is that there is so much noise out there about collagen and all of this, really attractive, bright, it does this, it does that. And actually the way that you have just explained it in this little corner of the of the world that we are on Herizen. The way that you have just explained it to me, I have never heard information like that, and put in a way that we can all understand. So I'm so grateful for that. Thank you.
No, it's my pleasure. I was worried. I don't want to overcomplicate it. Oh, can you hear me? I can hear you.
Yes, I can. Yeah.
No, it's my absolute pleasure. And I didn't want to overcomplicate it by over medicalizing it. But I think it's really important for you and our community to understand the actual science behind it, what they are, so you can make the informed decisions, because you're not going to be able to have all of these discussions with X, Y, and Z. But at least you can then, as you rightly said, pick the right type for you, consider it, and then where you need to have that conversation with the appropriate medical professionals that you're seeing. Or if you're not and you feel, your general health is in a good condition, then it's absolutely appropriate. But no, it's my pleasure. And I think the key things that I just want to reiterate is they are supplements. They're not foundational. Don't forget your other pillars that are really important. And I keep banging on about resistance training, vitamin D, calcium, bone health, your stress and sleep management, all of those things, because they work together. And nutrition is also really, really important. And when you're looking at all of these marketing things about vitamins for menopause, vitamins X, Y, and Z, unfortunately, the menopause is gaining more traction, but along with it, it's gaining a lot of things that are being sold, which aren't necessarily correct.
Yeah.
So if you do ever think you need a supplement, multi-menopause vitamins probably isn't the right way. You need to think about single supplements, and they're usually sufficient unless you've got deficiencies, which you need to get tested for through your NHS care. Things like omega-3, there's definitely benefit for, and magnesium would be the other one that I would say, is worthwhile. But anything else, if you're eating a healthy, balanced diet, you don't need to be sold into these multi-vitamins, which are in a beautiful, shiny bottle or in a tasty, sweet liquid that you don't need. So I think collagen is supportive for the surface. Creatine is supportive for the engine, but your strength training is what's going to improve your overall prognosis and overall health. And I think that's the key thing. And that's where the real power lies for you to be able to navigate this, overwhelming environment, because menopause isn't a decline, it's a transition. And it's about how you can best support yourself. It's not chasing youth, but it's making sure that you can remain strong, your cognition is in good health, you're metabolically healthy, and your self-esteem is there as well. And so choosing the right things is going to support that. And I wish I could say what Laura wanted, which was you can grow your hair like Rapunzel and have the strength of life. I loved that. And sleep like, have the energy like you've slept for 8 hours.
Yeah.
There are options, ways to getting there, but it's not a miracle that will allow for that straight away.
Yeah.
And
Sumi, I just want to give you some feedback, because honestly, I always knew that you were incredible, but I think I've just fallen in love with you a little bit more today. Katie G said, this has been so useful. Really appreciate your advice. Katie, we are so happy you are here, sweetheart, and you are so welcome. Liz said, this was so great. In an hour, all confusion has been removed. Super clear. Immediately telling all of my friends, thank you. This is for you, Sumi.
Oh, and that was I was going to ask, please do share with other women that are navigating this stage. So now when you next go for a coffee or a dinner or a brunch or a 90s brunch or whatever it's going to be, you share this information, because it's not kept secret, but there's just too much noise.
Yes,
and there are too many myths. So I'm so pleased that you found it helpful. And ladies, keep asking questions, because the more questions you ask, the more empowered decisions that you can make. And that's what we're here for as a community, to be able to support. And that's my role, and why I am so heavily devoted to you, Herizen, because I just feel this is the way that we need to be able to spread the word. So more than happy to. And if I will get a bit better on my social media, and I will start putting out more educational bits, but bear with me. So that's another place you can
we
always find
understand.
more.
We understand, Sumi. Rachel said she's looking forward to seeing any recommendations for Creatine begin out. We absolutely will. I know that you were going to look into Ancient and Brave. There is another collagen that Vic uses called Will Powers or Will Powders. Vic, I'm just trying to find it now. That was just from memory. I can't believe I even remembered that. Will Powders. So that's another one, Sumi. I will put that in the comments and we can have a look at that.
So in terms of for creating at the moment, so I mean, you're just going to say I am actually using the Zuki one. So my husband and I both use it just because, again, they're simple sachets.
Yes.
They taste, they taste like squash.
The collagen, the creatine is a liquid as well. That's
no, it's a powder.
A powder, okay.
A powder, but because they're nice slim sachets and they've got the right amount of the right grams, and they taste really nice. Yeah. So it's easy for me to just take the little powder sachet and put it into my water bottle. Yeah. So that's what I use. Amazing. I will also give a few other suggestions that you can get.
That would be wonderful.
Massive. They're just massive tubs. I prefer like a little sachet, if I'm honest.
Yeah. Jane says, I agree, so informative. Sam said, wow, I've literally learned so much. Best hour. Thank you so much. Very grateful. Great information. Kerry. Lulu said, this is literally so helpful. Vic, loved this. Really helpful. I've taken collagen for years and just started using creatine. Laura's giving you loads of love as always. Khalida, great session. I've learned so much. Thank you, Cassie and Dr. Sumi. Just to summarise before we let everybody go, Sumi, is there anything more that you want to say on this subject? And then I just have two things I want to say.
No, I think I've yabbered on for long enough, and hopefully the key messages have come through.
We're still in the hour and we've got the message across. So valuable, so valuable. One thing I did want to tell our community is this wonderful woman, Dr. Sumi, will be with us at our Herizen community gathering on the 25th of April. So if that wasn't even more encouragement for you to come, she will be there in person. So if you want to come along and join us, we are going to have the best couple of hours. We're going to let loose. We're going to dance and sing, a couple of Prosecco's and have the best time. But Dr. Sumi, you'll be joining us, won't you?
I will. I managed to, I was working that day, but I've managed to change things around so I can come and be present and enjoy all the love and you wonderful women.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. This has been an incredibly informative webinar. Sumi, you have such a way of explaining it to us. This was how I dreamed Herizen would be, in a language that we can all understand. We are all in this together, girls. And I think if we carry on doing this, we're supporting each other. We'll put some links in the notes, Sumi, and it would just be great if we could just break down, like going back over the hydrolation, marine, 11, all of those key bits of the information, so that the girls have almost got their little shopping list that they can follow and make sure that everything that they need, it says on the packet, whether they decide to go with Zuki or they decide to go with another one, that would be amazing.
No, absolutely. That's not a problem at all.
Thank you so much.
And if I forget, because, I'm also going through my transition. My hormonal changes too. You send me a little nudge, please, Cassie.
I will, my darling. I absolutely will.
I do try and respond, but I'm always a little bit delayed in responding to messages. But I will.
No, I absolutely will. What I'll do is when I save this live now, it will go into the Glow Lounge. I'll just write down those couple of products so that you can have a look as and when you can. And then if you can, when you are ready, just a couple of sentences about those key points, that would be amazing. And then anything that you pick up in the future, just keep throwing the information in there, because it's where we all go to look.
No, my pleasure.
Thank you so much to everybody that has joined. Sumi, a million thank yous to you. Amazing. Now we need to start thinking about the next subject for the next webinar, because I can't get enough of you women.
No problem. Well, you just tell me when you want me back. And thank you everyone for joining, and thank you for having me here, and I'm looking forward to the next one, but I shall see you on the 25th.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a lovely evening. Thank you, Sumi. Goodbye, my darling. Bye. It's your thing. Do what you want to do. I can't tell you.
target to the shoulder.